Ryan, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, it's great to be with you.
It's great to be with you. This is an amazing article, the 15 smoking guns that show this guy is clearly a terrorist threat. I think I got to like number 3 and I'm reading it. I'm like, how is this even an argument? How is this guy even here still? I mean, honestly, why isn't he even in jail here in America? Can we go through these one by one?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I would preface this by saying, like, obviously we're thankful that he's being deported and we can all applaud that, but we shouldn't necessarily be impressed by it. I think that's kind of the take.
It is a pretty low bar here.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But what's a little disturbing is the fact that because the Trump administration hasn't involved to any degree that I'm aware of, those of us that monitor these types of groups, and that's why I had this information available, they came out with this and kind of got put on the defensive, and now Mahmoud Khalil and the group he's a part of that we're going to talk about is more powerful than ever. All the pro-Hamas seditionist groups are fundraising off of this.
This is crazy.
It's a big mistake because they didn't work with those of us that could justify what they're doing. They just kind of did it.
Okay, so let me go take this point by point with you. First point.
Sure.
Khalil's group seeks to incite and carry out terrorism on U.S. soil, including copying the October 7th atrocities.
Yeah, so the group that he is the leader of or a leader of, Columbia University Apartheid Divest, which is actually a coalition of 100 groups, 100 student groups, they say, 115. They list many of them. They posted on their social media page multiple times that they were telling their comrades involved in the global intifada, primarily targeting the United States. They talk about attacking the U.S. more than they talk about Israel, to, quote, look to the tactics of the Palestinian resistance for inspired action and to rise like a flood. And when they say flood, what they're doing is they're referring to the October 7th attacks because Hamas refers to it as Operation Jerusalem Flood, Al-Aqsa Flood. So that's how that would be interpreted. Okay. That's saying October 7th, good idea for U.S. soil.
Number 2, his group praised the October 7th attacks and Islamist-backed violent uprisings in Bangladesh as part of the global intifada against American imperialism.
Right. So they see themselves as part of a global intifada that's both Marxist, communist, actually some anarchist elements, and Islamist. It's all one thing. So they view it as they're part of an international network.
His group said, quote, we must genuinely threaten the state, I imagine that's America, so much we are killed, jailed, tortured, disappeared, and targeted in America, end quote.
Right. And they say that the goal of doing that, you have to go through those sacrifices, they call them, is to achieve liberation in America. And what they're doing is, if you look at what they and their comrades talk about, they refer to America as Turtle Island. And basically, it's a Native American myth. What they're saying is just as they want to replace Israel with an Arab state of Palestine, their goal is to replace the United States with a Native American state of Turtle Island.
Give me a break.
A lot of people don't know that I'm a painter, and I gave up painting because of demoralizing pain in my hands. I was losing hope. If pain keeps you from really living, I urge you to do what I did. Try Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement developed by doctors. It's safe to take every day, and it has helped me and so many others. You can try their 3-week quick start right now, $19.95 at relieffactor.com.
First of all, can we just talk? I'm sorry to do this here, but let me
go for
it. Can we stop with the Native Americans were so much better than every other human being alive? They were humans. They were warring all the time, just like every other race and group of people. They were enslaving. If they didn't kill you in war, they enslaved you after war. Please, can we stop? Humans are humans. This ridiculous, well, these were Native Americans, and so they were perfect. Shut up. Grab a book. Read a little history. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, thank you for saying that. It's especially ironic because a lot of these people hate religion, but they model their characterization of Native Americans on Jesus Christ. When you look at how they describe them, the white man came in and Native Americans had to die for everyone's sins because they were pure and they were killed by capitalism. But anyway.
So is there any, I mean, are people that stupid that they think that a Marxist, communist, Islamist group is going to hand over America to the Native American nations? Are they that? I mean, really?
I mean, honestly, Glenn, from watching the way the protesters talk on their personal social media pages, a lot of this is performative, and it's more about they feel scared for the future. For in some cases, many legitimate reasons, they feel they don't have a safety net. There's no one coming to help them, and so they gravitate to whichever group is talking about the most far-sweeping change. So they hear it's not like they're studying Marx and then saying, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let me join that group." It's more, I'm scared there's got to be a revolution because, my God, what am I going to do? I don't know if I can make it in the future. And these groups speak the language, and they bring them in.
Number 4, Khalil's group called for attacking the military and the police en masse and dismantling the state infrastructure, assuming it's America.
Yep. And you can tell because on a lot of these posts, these are several slides together. So they do keep bringing it back to America, but they'll cite the violence in Bangladesh or what Hamas did as the example to follow. And so that particular post, after going over and praising how the Bangladeshi militants were attacking the police and military and dismantling things, they say those of us in the Western world have the obligation to meet them there, after saying that this is, they escalated in this way.
So if this hasn't been bad enough for you to shut the pie hole, if you're like, this guy, he's just a freedom fighter, there's no hope for you. But let me go on. Number 6, Khalil's group seeks the eradication of Western civilization.
Yeah. I mean, what more can you say to that? It's right there. And they also talk about burning a lot of things down, too. You'll notice that pattern throughout these points. The examples they give, there's a lot of burning down prisons, burn this, burn that. And they're a big fan of anarchists or arsonists. I mean, arsonist terrorism.
I have a former Prime Minister of England, Liz Truss, coming in today for a show, and I can't wait to talk to her because I'd like to hear her opinion on what the hell is wrong with all of you people over in Europe and in England. How do they not see that they're going to be an Islamic state if they don't turn this around right now? And it may be too late. I mean, how are we missing this in the West?
I think part of it is that there's a failure to recognize the degree to which all of the extremes, all the seditionist elements are kind of coming together. And so it seems like in people's minds, they're in separate boxes. They hear, the Islamic extremist threat, it's bad, but the odds of me getting hurt, not that high. They're not putting together the anarchists, the communists, the white nationalists are increasingly with them. You put it all together and you look at the polls that show how many people support them and you add them up, then you'll see the totality of the problem.
Gosh. Number 7, Khalil's group asks violent extremists abroad for help in organizing uprising. Number 8, his group asks for help from militants in the global South in achieving its goal of eradicating Western civilization and fighting the fascism ingrained in the American consciousness.
There's the Antifa reference. See? So it's all coming together. You have the jihadist stuff in there, and then the anti-fascism Antifa reference.
Khalil's group, number 9, threatened to shut down Columbia University unless it eliminated the police presence on campus and severed all ties to the New York Police Department, which, if they did that just in Columbia, that accomplishes so many of the other goals.
Yeah, right. And it's just amazing that the schools even tolerate that. Like, even a threat. Like, how are you allowed to go on the campus at all?
Khalil's group really likes to see things set on fire. I love that one. Explain.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to before, where they're giving specific examples of what was going on in Bangladesh that should be replicated. And they're like, how they set fire to the state broadcasting network's headquarters, how they set fire to the prison, how they set fire to the government offices, how they set fire to the state vehicles. And then there was a arsonist terrorist in California who tried to firebomb a federal building, He firebombed a cop car, lit a building on fire, looted a building on college campuses. And that's all fine and dandy. They say that that's all a wonderful thing, and everyone should love the guy.
Number 11, Khalil's group had terrorists teach Columbia students.
Yeah, so he actually put together a virtual event that featured two leaders of this group called Samadoun. That anyone that knows this stuff, 30 seconds, you would know this is a front for the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, which is like the Marxist counterpart to Hamas. They work together, and they're both backed by Iran. Took part in the October 7th attacks. And this wasn't some academic exercise where you heard diverse viewpoints and anything was challenged. No, it was just come in and tell the students what reality is. And that's what they did. And they taught the students that hijackings that were done by Palestinian terrorists are an inspiring thing.
Number 12, Columbia protesters were told to riot by a Chinese Communist Party entity, and they complied hours later.
Yeah. Just all you can do is laugh because it's so absurd in some of these cases. So over 100 protesters from Columbia University go to the headquarters of People's Forum, which we know from the Capital Research Center profile on them is heavily, if not completely, funded by the Chinese Communist Party. Like the leader is over there in China and in Asia, and this is all known and proven. And so, of course, they say, you know what you guys should do? You should riot. And then a few hours later, Khalil's group goes and they riot. So they were incited by the Chinese Communist Party in that instance.
Again, we're talking about a guy, Columbia University student, that is really behind a lot of the stuff that was happening in Columbia University. All of this really, Jew hatred, Israel hatred stuff. And the people on the left are going, you can't do that. That's how dare you do that? Well, yeah, you're either part of the problem or you just are ill-informed or uninformed. You're living in a self-contained box of ignorance. We're talking to Ryan Mauro. You can follow him on X at Ryan Mauro. His website is Ryan Mauro. That's spelled, by the way, M-A-U-R-O, ryanmauro.com. And we're down to the last couple of points that you're making in this great op-ed on the Blaze News and Blaze.com. Let's see. We have 13. Khalil's group their stated goal is to topple all institutions that benefit from colonial racial capitalism and dismantle the state.
Yeah, so it's an anti-government group, just like the left likes to talk about the crazy right-wing militia-type forces, but then you can have this Islamist Marxist-friendly group saying the same thing, and civil rights icon.
So Khalil's group boasts about vandalism of campus property.
Yep, and I included that just to show people that the same people that do that type of thing, you can't just dismiss it. Like it's all part of the same thing. So there's broader implications to that. It's not just about the spray paint.
The last one, number 15, a large part of Khalil's coalition declared itself a literal part of Hamas. Oh,
yeah, so Students for Justice in Palestine, which is like the biggest group behind all of these protests. And by the way, after I spoke with you, I completed my study for Capital Research Center, where I found over 150 pro-terrorism groups were behind the protests. Literally 150. And Khalil's group was one of them. And so Khalil's group is a coalition, and probably the biggest group within his coalition is Students for Justice in Palestine, which is nationwide, the biggest group involved in all of this stuff. And it's kind of widely known that they celebrate the October 7th attacks because people were shocked, but people were so shocked they didn't read the rest of the statement that they put out. Because the rest of the statement, they actually say, we just want to clarify something. The resistance movement that did these attacks, we're not saying that we're in solidarity with them. We're saying we are part of them. They declared themselves to be part of a designated foreign terrorist organization, Hamas, and you could say the other groups that were involved in October 7th. They said they're part of all those groups that is illegal to be a part of. And here's the kicker that I just recently found out. Do you know who else is a member of Khalil's group?
Satan.
Ilhan Omar's daughter.
You've got to be kidding me.
She was arrested for her activism with this group. She tweeted that she is an organizer with Khalil's group, the Columbia University Apartheid Divest, and the Students for Justice in Palestine chapter at Columbia. So think of it this way. If Students for Justice in Palestine says they are a part of Hamas, and then Ilhan Omar's daughter is a part of Students for Justice in Palestine, what does that say about her daughter?
What does it say about Ilhan Omar?
Right.
Are these, because the language is so Marxist, it's strangely almost disarming instead of it being, Allah Akbar. What is his center? Marxism, revolution, or crazy Islamists?
Kind of become the one, like all one thing, because like I monitor all these extremists, all the seditionist chats. I call this the seditionist movement, that bring them all together, and I'll hop from the anarchists to the communists to the Islamists to the white nationalists, and I can't tell the difference in the rhetoric between them. Like it's just, they switch out some nouns, but it's almost all the same thing: revolution, dismembering the state along ethnic, racial, political lines. The U.S. is an illegitimate state. It's possible that this guy's more aligned with the PFLP, the Popular Front for Liberation of Palestine, which is backed by Iran, but it's kind of like it works in tandem with Hamas. They're as close as they could be, but they're communists.
Unbelievable. I can't thank you enough for everything that you do. I mean, you are fighting the good fight and doing all the heavy lifting on it, and I really appreciate it. Ryan Mauro, Capital Research Center investigative researcher and counterterrorism expert. You can find this op-ed at theblaze.com.